So please welcome Andrew Genovese to the show. Welcome, Andrew.
How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Straight from my home state of Washington, in the woods.
Yeah.
Tell us where you are.
We are in the forest, about an hour west of Seattle, in the Kitsap Peninsula. And yeah, we're after leaving Los Angeles and quite literally getting regurgitated out of Los Angeles. We are just so grateful to be connected to the land and to the forest and to hear the sounds of nature every day. And yeah, we're just at so much deeper peace and the vibration of just the people and the land. Yeah, it's everything. So huge transition for my partner and I as we embark on this entire new journey, new community. And so, yeah, it's a blessing. Huge transit period for us.
Oh, I love it. Well, I discovered you on Instagram, and lately it's one of those things, and I know we'll talk about this, but Andrew's coming into my life and another person, and I'm like, all of these people are just being like dropped into my something like awareness, right? And I'm like, I know I'm attracting it, and I know whatever we're to connected in this way to, we're connected from a deeper way. Like I just know that when I meet people that I'm in a deeper connection with you than just finding you on Instagram and inviting you to my podcast. Way deeper. So when I go down Andrew's, I say rabbit hole too much, but I'm going to say it again. Rabbit hole. I resonate with everything you say, and I need to share you with the world. And I love to explain when people uncover their magic. And can we go a little bit on that? Because you are about the breath work, and I'd love to go with that, but I really want to talk about this ascension, where we're going, what you've experienced the last going on 2023 now. But so let's start when you uncovered your magic, during that, when you learned to breathe and you started healing yourself and you realized this power in the breath. And, I had breath work done, 20 years ago. And I look back at that when I was listening to you the other day going, I realized this woman, I had a day spa in Carlsbad, and she worked for me and she did massage and she did breath work was her specialty. But 20 years ago, like that was just kind of like, for me now looking at it, now I see it. I hear you reference like the last 10 years have been like more of an evolution of that. But yeah, I remember having that breath work. So I have had one session of that, but ever since you talk about the breathing through the nose, and this morning listening to you on my walk, all I do is breathe. Thanks to Andrew. So let's go with that. Andrew, tell me where you want to take us on your uncovering your magic.
Yeah, so so much magic has been uncovered for me in my own personal journey in the last couple of years. I mean, now that I have even more time to reflect on what that means being in the forest, there's never a moment or a day where I'm not just blown away by how much we've transformed as a planetary unit in the last couple of years. And for me, my magic really began to get uncovered when I left my hostel in Nicaragua, spending years and years being a wanderer. And every single time when I was, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, when I would see, like one of my dad's friends, they wouldn't even say, they would just ask me, where are you going next? Where are you headed next? And I'd be like, oh, actually in March, I'm going here. Actually in January, I'm doing a 6-month trip through Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines, Sri Lanka. And so, yeah, there was many years where I was searching for that magic. And I didn't know that at the time, but all I knew was that I didn't fit into a society of constantly stressed and sick people that were so disconnected from life, and that they weren't just here to punch a clock and sit at a desk their whole life. It just didn't resonate with me. Even at 15 years old, when I used to punch the clock, I was like, this is this is something so off about this.
Yes.
And so I just continued to travel the world, and I found my breath through losing my hostel, having no money, just nothing really, no reason to, I had no connection to my purpose or why I was here.
Hmm.
So when my life just began crumbling to pieces, and it felt like, I felt like 50-foot tall dominoes were just stacking and stacking on me. And then when I lost my health, I found the breath, and it just popped into my awareness. I don't know if my guides or the angels, if I received it in a dream, but I started becoming more and more, I'd say, I started being driven towards wanting to help people and wanting to hold space for people when I was ending my journey in Nicaragua as a business owner. And when I found the breath, every single day I woke up, I just couldn't believe what was happening to me in just feeling more calm, being able to decipher the really dark thoughts that I was, potentially dying from some rare disease with my hands starting to not function properly. When I would grab a towel to dry my hair, there would just be these intense pains just shooting
Huh.
up my arm. So it gave me such severe anxiety that I was like, okay, is this it? am I, I didn't know what was happening to me because it was so odd. And obviously no doctor could tell me what was going on because, doctors just don't know about health. They don't know how to
Right.
actually help people heal. So the breath uncovered my true divinity. It opened up the fact that I was a galactic being in a human meat suit, this multidimensional being that is eternal and boundless and has no limits. And only what we've learned in school systems and from unconscious parents and from society puts limitations on us. And so when I started really just tuning into my body, being able to say, no, that thought is telling me that I'm not enough or that I'm not powerful, we're going to give that one away.
Hmm.
And being able to just come back into my body, which I discovered was like, wow, so many people are walking the planet not even aware that their body is their home. Your home is your body, and that's my mantra.
Hmm.
uh, i'm I'm home in my body, I'm safe in my body, my body is my home. And so, right, telling your body when you're going through anger, anxiety, sadness, grief, that you're safe. You're safe in your body. Your body is your temple, and that you want to cherish it and be kind to it all as much as you possibly can. So when I really started finding this power of the breath, it was kind of just like, wow, I need to share this with the world. People need to know that the most simple thing as changing awareness and becoming
Right.
aware of the healing power that they harness in something that they're doing while they're sitting at their desk, while they're with their children, while they're preparing their food, even to literally just be aware to take 3 breaths while they're in the middle of food prepping harnesses so much power, because you are sticking the key into your central nervous system and your autonomic nervous system, which is the only function that we possess power of. Can we, do
Hmm.
we have power over our raising our blood pressure? No. Do we
Right.
have power over our heart beating? No. Do we have power over manipulating, controlling our breath? Yes. All the time, all throughout the day.
Right.
So being able to just come back into the present moment of this awareness of I'm alive one more day, I'm alive one more day again, and I get to feel all the sensations of being able to see, being able to observe this beautiful flower, being able to see the death, the leaves falling from the trees as we're in fall. Right, I come into full awareness of all those realizations with my breath into the now moment. And then when we go deeper into the breath, we realize that we can experience God. We can experience source consciousness and angelic beings and our connections to galactic beings that we were never aware of, because, right, when we breathe into a breathwork journey, a dimensional breathwork journey, which is what I've held for thousands of people all over the world, I asked myself, how can I present people and show them their true divinity, their true multidimensionality? And that's how dimensional breathwork came to me. When we dive into these deep breathwork journeys, we're opening the pineal gland, where we are tapping into the depths of what we truly are. We are on the pineal gland, right, which is the third eye, right? We're shaking these tiny little crystals on the pineal gland, these piezoelectric crystals, and activating our connection to the divine. And that's how we can have these multidimensional, really profound experiences that are quite difficult to be described in words.
Right. When you talk about the time, so you even say like it only takes 144 seconds to get into or have a meditation experience. But when you're doing your breath work and you have these sessions with people, or even when they're starting off, like with me, and I know you say you could do it for 3 to 6 months, and you could get rid of 70% of your illnesses, your fungus, your all the if cancer, lose weight. I mean, you've said
Yeah.
all the things. Like, people don't understand that power. And why are we just now learning about that? Why is it just now starting? Like, what is that? Why are we doing that? What is the world experiencing right now that now, oh, breath work? Because, you hear that a lot now. I mean, I do, because I'm around I'm attracted to those kind of people like you.
We have, as we know, witnessed a profound shift in awareness and consciousness on the planet. And the breath is what takes us through life. When a new soul enters the planet, the first thing that happens when it takes its first breath, when he or she takes his first breath, is the soul enters the body. So when that new soul comes onto the earth and takes its first breath, that's when the soul comes into the body. And that's at least what many of the ancient civilizations thought. So, and they were tuned into realms of consciousness that is far beyond what we know in this now moment. So it's everything to just have that awareness, right? If we attach ourselves to, I'm feeling anger today. Okay, so I'm an angry person. I don't want to express anger or sadness or grief, because other people will judge me as this sad, angry, grieving person. But here's the thing, is that you're not your emotions. Your body is the conduit where emotions can pass through for you to acknowledge and become aware. As you become aware and acknowledge those emotions, and you say, sadness, I see you. Jealousy, I see you. Shame, I see you. But you're not mine to keep. You're not mine to hold on to anymore. That's when the energy releases. That's when the energy subsides. It's only with awareness, and also breathing into the body is energy. This is energy medicine. The emotions are energy. The body is energy. It's the most organic form of medicine ever.
Right.
In existence. So,
I mean, when I've been looking at all the things that you even talk about, like the nutrition aspect of life, and how you believe in the, plant-based, the things on your website, the mushroom, all these different, there was one that was the ormus. Is that how you say it?
Ormus, yeah.
Ormus, that water, the ASEA.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But
The
you,
ASEA is
all
what
these,
I took on my 7-day fast
yes,
just
in
a
the,
couple weeks ago here in Washington.
yeah, I saw that. So talk about the nutrition with the breath work, and then now like how you, we definitely need to get into the animal eating, how you look at eating meat, and where you see the world going into, all the, you think there's gonna be Trader Joe's and Whole Foods and Ralph's, and like those aren't gonna exist anymore. I just love, so please share that with everyone.
Yeah. So
Nutrition. That's our
yeah,
umbrella.
there's a lot there, right? So going back to the body, right? Um, I became so fascinated with how much I was shifting through. When my life started falling apart, I was just drawn away from putting any animals products in my body. I became aware that it's a low vibration. It's
Right.
a low frequency. And so I only started being drawn to just plants, juices, organic fruits, vegetables, um, putting all the superfoods, understanding a deeper understanding of chaga, reishi, turkey tail, lion's mane, all these amazing mushrooms that the earth has for us to heal cancers, to reduce inflammation, to increase cognitive function, to access both hemispheres of our brain. I mean, gosh, the most powerful form of medicine for depression is psilocybin mushrooms, and it's been made illegal. Are you
Right.
kidding me? If my mom, my own mother, who's literally dealt with depression for 35 years, she's been on antidepressants for nearly 3 decades.
Oh,
If she actually listened to me and was willing to take microdoses of psilocybin mushrooms with that 0.025 of psilocybin in 1 year, she'd be an entirely different person.
wow.
But the programming goes so deep that most people, especially of that age bracket, are not willing to see beyond the Western medicine scope,
Right.
right? There is just so many tools out there for us. ASEA,
Yeah. Tell me about
ASEA,
that.
ASEA is literally the most, it is the most profound breakthrough in health science that we're going to see in our lifetime
Huh.
because it's redox molecules. Redox molecules is reductant oxidant. Without redox molecules, life would cease to exist within 30 seconds. And
Oh, wow.
somehow, after 30 years of research, scientists finally said, this is impossible. It can't be done. We can't get redox molecules into a bottle or into a dropper form. It's not possible. And somehow these galactic alien scientists of ASEA
Huh.
figured out how to do it. And they're getting it to someone in hospice who's literally barely able to remember their name with severe dementia, and they are getting told to go back home 2.5 months later because they're so healthy.
Oh, I love that. Amazing.
I mean, just profound.
Wow.
For someone to not even know their name and then to literally be like, hey, Tommy, how's my grandson? Come over, let's play basketball in the driveway. Like those stories are of the thousands of people who are finding ASEA.
Huh. But
So
wait. So when you talk about the Sia, it's like it looks like a water bottle, like a
yeah,
blue
yeah.
water bottle, and it's in you drink it. But are you drinking the whole bottle?
So when I did my 7-day fast up here in the Pacific Northwest at Mount Rainier 3 weeks ago, I was guided by my guides to bring a bottle per day. So I drank 7 bottles. So in that time, my world was on fire.
What does
Because
that mean?
I had prana, I had universal life force flowing through my body, detoxing, cleansing, creating an immense amount of cellular regeneration. So a lot of people say, and I know this, that the ASEA is liquid consciousness. It's liquid light, and I actually felt it when I was up on that mountain because I was up there for 7 whole days. I thought I was going to be crawling on the ground, dying of starvation, and I never got hungry until night 5, night
Hmm.
6, and night 7,
Hmm.
and it was only mild hunger. So what that showed me was, wow, the ASEA is so it made me alive. It made every cell in my body communicating, healing on a mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual level. So to answer your question, for someone who's taking ASEA, they would take a much smaller dose. But for people who are basically being told by a doctor that they're dying from this disease, they have 6 months to live, they have a year to live, generally they'll drink anywhere from a half a bottle to a bottle a day. So for someone like me who's extremely healthy and connected to their body and makes their best effort to put only good foods in their body, it tapped me into, I've never felt more quantum in my life than I felt on that mountain, doing breath work every day and alchemizing my emotions and drinking the ASEA. It just gave me a whole new understanding that the world needs to know about this product.
Right.
And
And when you're doing breath work on your fast and your 7-day, are you doing breath work throughout your day? How does that look?
yeah, so when I was up there, day 4, day 5, and day 6, I really started to purge a lot of emotions. I started to feel like, oh my gosh, like just lots of tension in my chest. Because when you're fasting, right? When you're alone on a mountain at 8,000 feet elevation, do you have any distractions? No.
Right.
It's just you. It's just you, the land, the nature, the sounds of the animals, and your breath. So every moment was a continuous of just coming back to that now moment, feeling into my body, observing the self-doubt, observing the lack, observing the self-judgment without judgment.
Mhm.
And just when I started feeling tension in my gut or my hips or my body, I would go into an hour-long breathwork journey of just moving like a warrior up on this mountain and just moving the energy, transmuting it. As I'd feel anxiety, I'd say, anxiety, I feel you, I thank you, I love you, I let you go, I release you. And then I'd move on to the next emotion. And there was 7 days of that. Day 4, day 5, day 6, and day 7, I did breath work 3 times a day. And the afternoon session was like a proper hour and a half of like real depth. I remember day 5, I let out a lion roar on that mountain that probably could have been heard from a dozen mountain ranges over. It was so loud.
Oh,
Just this
wow.
fierce, like it was like a soul reclamation of who I was. That those 2 yells were just like, oh my God, I can't even describe in words like the power that came out of me. It was of like reclaiming our planet. It was like putting my stake in the ground. It was like reclaiming the planet for every galactic cosmic being on the planet. It was like transmuting anger. It was everything.
Before you go on that, do you have an intention? Like had you been planning it? Like what would make you go on this 7-day journey by yourself?
Yeah. I mean, it was just pure guidance from the divine, you know. And in August, I started receiving messages that I was being guided to go out to the wilderness. So I said, okay, what does that mean? How long? Where am I going? Am I going to a mountain range? Am I going to a pasture? Am I doing it in Washington? So that was in August. Fast forward to September, and we started getting to the end of September, and I kind of started feeling a bit disheartened because I was like, oh no, like how do I not have time to do this journey? Because now it's going to be getting cold. I'm not going to be able to do it.
Right.
And then sudden, poof, out of nowhere, this 1 week opened up in mid-October in Washington with perfect weather. I looked at the weather up there and it was sunny every day for an entire week. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not speaking at any online events. I'm not hosting any ceremonies. Like for that 1 week, like I was booked for, it was unbelievable.
Wow.
Like I could not believe I had this just 1 week to just give myself. And so there it was. I was heading out into the wilderness, and my intention going into it, number one was just, okay, Andrew, you're going out into the mountains, just giving yourself permission to uncover any heaviness, darkness, shadow, programming, and just full radical permission to just feel every single emotion wholeheartedly with your full presence and your full awareness. That was the main intention. And to just, and as one of the many leaders of the new earth, I'm 1,000% aware of the power it has when one of us
Right.
does work like that
Right. You know,
and that level of transmutation.
right.
So I knew it was far grander than just me.
Right. When you talk about you as being one of the leaders, you talk about 144,000 people have been They're either the star seeds that have been placed on this earth, demographically even placed in perfect places to help ascend these, from ascend these humans to this 5D new world. You'd call it the Garden of Eden, Age of Aquarius. Explain that, because you are one of those people. You know that through your knowing, that because of what resonates with you and where you're drawn to, what you're called to.
Yeah. It's funny when some people will ask a question like, how do I know if I'm a star seed? How do I know if I have star seed or galactic DNA? And I just respond, that's not something I can tell you.
Right.
It's a knowing within, it's just, you just know.
Right.
And so when we came to this time thousands of years ago, God, source creator, began planning. And God said, I'm going to find 144,000 of the most powerful, magical, trustworthy, angelic, galactic souls to come to Earth to transform this planet into a new existence, into the 5D Earth. Leaving the Dark Ages, we needed a badass team.
Right.
A really badass team. So Source hand selected the most trustworthy beings from all over the galaxies that carry different skills of medicine, of meditation, of knowledge of the earth, of knowledge of water, of knowledge of growing food, beautiful angelic musicians, right? It came in the form of many different types of light workers.
Right.
And there's not just 144,000, there's actually more souls that are angelic than just that. I believe of the 144,000, there's actually maybe a couple more thousand than that, but there's millions of star seeds on Earth. And the star seeds are the ones that carry the codes to usher in this new fifth dimensional Earth.
Right.
Because the genetic blueprint, our cosmic blueprint of our DNA, the golden age is not outside of us. It's literally in this body.
Right.
We unlock it within our body through becoming more love, through becoming more aware, through realizing that there's no separation between you and I.
Right.
No separation between the deer that I'm looking at right now sitting in my backyard.
Right.
There's no separation between that blade of grass, between that deciduous tree. There's no separation between the creek that's running 30 feet behind my house. We need each other to coexist. And so when I, for example, buy a plastic bottle and I throw it out my window and it goes out onto the earth, that's a form of self-hatred because the earth is a part of you. You are the earth.
Right.
You are the nature. So, right, that's the disconnect that billions of souls are carrying within them as we walk the planet right now. And so everything is a game of energy. This time, this spiritual war, it's a game of frequencies. It's a game of energies. And so those who are going to move on to this golden age, this new earth, you must raise your vibration. You must raise your frequency and realize that there is no disconnection to all living beings, to all sentient beings.
But you are living that to me. I see you as living in the golden in that. But you have, what are you like, right? I mean, you live that way in right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we don't need to, we're not going somewhere. We're not going to like ascend to this new earth. We're living there now. It's just a matter of our energy and our vibration and, where we vibrate, where our souls, like what we eat, everything you talk about, what we eat, what we do with our body, how we live our life. If we live with love, we get rid of our limiting beliefs and we start to, come and vibrate that higher level, right? To get into that Garden of Eden? I mean, like we're all like going there, but there's people that are still living that 3D that will still live in fear, that will still, like, I was listening to a podcast that you're on. It was the 2020. It was like wearing masks and, like, like having to go through this virus to almost 3 years ago for people to wake up and to see this. We had to shift somehow, but you were talking about the Mayan calendar, how it was off 8 years, and how finally at 2020, the virus had to come in to now start this process. But that's what I'm trying to understand is I feel like when I'm listening to you, you're already doing that. You're already there.
We must embody the new earth within our being.
Right.
The new earth doesn't create itself. Our
Right.
star family is not going to come down from the cosmos and go, here you go, family.
Right.
Earth, we did it for you. That's not how this works.
Right.
We are in physical form to do the work ourselves. So that's where you feel, this is where I see a lot of the medical community, a lot of the truth community being like, yeah, this guy's going to save us. Trump's going to save us. This prime minister, they have the answers. No, they don't. We have the answers because we are the ones that create the new earth. We literally have to build the boat. If you just,
Right.
that makes sense.
Yes.
We have to build the boat to go to the other side of the ocean, to cross that land. That's where the new earth is. We're building it. We don't get there through walking across the ocean. And in this lifetime, we will walk across the ocean. I promise you that. We will have spiritual abilities
Okay.
that are beyond the mind.
Right. Well, yeah, you talk about telepathy. I mean, I've heard that from people I've interviewed, where, the psychic, um, time travel. I mean, getting to the different, right now you can astral travel, go in your dreams, right? Like that, it'll just be the way of life that we'll be living, but there'll still be people living down with the masks on and fearing the coronavirus and that worried about the political, right?
So by the time that we reach what you just pointed to, of us being in our full quantumness, our full multidimensionality, that will not exist.
Okay.
Because the vibration on Earth, Mother Earth's Kundalini,
Right.
the frequency of Earth will be so high. If you're not emanating that frequency of love and connectivity, you would literally implode.
Okay.
Your body would not be able to sustain at that density, if that makes sense.
Right. So the kids that are coming in now, they're at a higher vibration? All the babies?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So they're already on, they're way above where we're trying to get to.
We're catching up to them.
Okay.
So we're having to transmute all this density from the old Earth. Many of us galactic cosmic beings signed many soul contracts to actually transform wounds and trauma and programming that's not ours. It's of the collective. Perfect example of this. In 2020, I had a really profound psilocybin journey. And I'm very, very passionate about psilocybin. It's transformed my life. And Michelle and I hold psilocybin ceremonies, and it's just such a beautiful, profound medicine. In the psilocybin journey, I had anxiety started coming into me, and it started growing and growing and growing and growing, turning into rage and anger that I literally thought I was going to just die. I literally thought I was going to explode. I mean, it was so uncomfortable. I can't even describe the discomfort that I was in that moment.
Wow.
And then shortly after, I felt the anger and the rage of millions of parents all over the world who had their sons and their daughters injured from vaccines.
Wow.
And I felt rage that was indescribable. And I'm having full body chills, and as I'm just speaking about it. And I grabbed the pillow next to me, and I yelled into that pillow for 2 minutes straight, just releasing all that anger for millions of parents all over the world.
Wow.
And when I finally moved through the anger, I was just like, my shoulders and my hands just dropped beside me. And I just took a deep breath and I was just like, holy shit. That
Wow.
those are the kind of soul contracts that many of us are taking on to release for the planet. And that was one of them that I experienced over the last couple of years.
Huh, interesting. When you talk about, oh, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, I was just going to point to the fact that, that's a perfect example of just how connected we are,
Right.
right? We are connected in a way that we can't. A bird literally just flew in my room.
Oh my gosh, hilarious. Who is that bird?
Oh, unbelievable. Some spirit guide saying hello.
Oh gosh. And so if it flew into mine, we'd have to shut off this computer. I would not be right.
I mean, that right there, what I just experienced, what just happened in this conversation is just a message that there's magic around us all the time.
Yes. I love
And
that.
that
Give
we're
me
coming
tears.
so much magic in this lifetime. It's just unfathomable, and to answer your question that you asked about 20 minutes ago, right? If we're talking about what we put in our body, if we're talking about consumption of food, of herbs, or of animals, right now there's many doctors and people who have large followings who are promoting eating a quote unquote ancestral diet, eating animals. These people are promoting an ancestral diet that ties to the dark ages.
Right.
Your DNA does not want to eat the body of a soul.
Right. Oh,
It,
believe me, I'm yes.
and when I word it like that, people go like this.
Right.
They're floored because what I'm saying resonates,
Right.
and they're deeply triggered by it. Eating a chicken, eating a cow, eating a pig, inside that body is a multidimensional being just like you and me. The lion, the giraffe, the dog, we're all multidimensional beings coming into different physical form. So if you're killing a deer, slitting its throat, gutting it, and then eating that flesh, you're consuming death. You're consuming a low vibration. It's
Right.
part of the old earth consciousness. And this is such a fun topic to talk about because I know some very magical brothers and sisters who consume meat. And when I present this information to them, they're dead silent. They're dead silent.
I
Why?
bet.
Because they know what I'm saying is true.
True. Right.
As our body crystallizes and we move from a carbon-based body to a crystalline body, a light body,
Right.
your body wants things that are what? Light.
Right.
What grows the tomato? What grows the cucumber? What grows the apricot? What grows the apple? Sun, light, water. That's what our DNA craves. That's what our DNA wants. And there's nothing more than our DNA wants than ASEA because it's literally switching on gene expressions. It activates our DNA and our cosmic blueprint, which is why ASEA is the biggest threat to big pharma on this planet because it activates who we are, switches on DNA.
But that kind of stuff, the other things that are on your website, but I had heard you talk about ASEA, so I looked it up on Amazon. I mean, you can buy it on Amazon.
Yeah, it is a shame that it's on Amazon because people buy it from ASEA, and rather
Right.
than promoting it and being really passionate about it like I am, people will be a wholesaler on Amazon.
Oh,
It's part
but
of a
that, but my thing is, it's not even about that. It's more of, big pharma. There was another thing on there that was saying how a man years ago came up with I think it was the Ormus, and he disappeared because he was healing all these people and no one knows where he went. And this other guy came and kind of tried to replicate that. But when you talk about, that's what I mean about because I know it's, Amazon, but it's out there. Like I could find it.
yeah.
No one's catching on yet. Or is that why?
Well, big pharma caught on. They tried to buy ASEA years ago.
Okay.
They went to ASEA and said, we're going to buy this company. The owners of ASEA said, absolutely not. This product is way too special, and humanity deserves to know about it and have it. So they declined it. They declined tens of millions of dollars, so they could stand by their morals and stand by their truth and get it out to humanity. So ASEA has been cyber attacked by big pharma and the medical industry, possibly more than any company in the world, because yeah, the product they have is it's a literal doctor in a bottle. And
Right.
it
Huh.
has cosmic galactic intelligence. It's technology from our future selves. That's what ASEA is.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I'm getting something. I'm calling you. I'm getting that. I'm starting that in my,
The whole world
okay.
needs to know about it.
Yeah,
I
I
can't wait to
believe
see
that.
what leaders get behind it as well, because it's what I love about it is, let's take like a med bed, for example, right? Someone who lives in the mountains um, in France is not going to have access to a med bed,
Right.
but someone who lives in the mountains of France or in Denmark can order a Thea.
Right.
And if their uncle literally is dying from stage 4 testicular cancer, they can literally heal in their home doing nothing but literally drinking a half a bottle to a bottle of ASEA a day.
Amazing.
And that's not to say that, and that's not to say I'm not making any medical claims of what it's going to do.
Right.
Only God has their hands on that.
Right.
Only God has their hands on that. But there are thousands and thousands of stories that are just mind blowing
Huh.
of a mom with three children, and 2 of them were severely autistic, barely able to function, and they drank ASEA for like 3 months, and then they were like playing sports. They had
Oh, wow.
friends. They're inviting people over to spend the night when the mom is just crying every day because she's so happy, because she's never seen
Oh,
happy in her life.
wow. Love that. When you talk about the DNA and the 2, we're at 2 something, and then we're going to go to 12. And then you talk about the light body, how our bodies are going to be so different. Like you were just talking about that a minute ago, but talk about the DNA and how how are we getting from 2, the helix? Is it the helix?
So we came to Earth with 2 helixes,
Okay, there we
right?
go.
So that's like the matrix human, is
Okay.
having 2 helixes, right? That's no spiritual abilities, that's no awareness of the quantum, that's no perception that you're a multidimensional being, you're a spiritual being having a temporary human experience. So as 3 strands, 4 strands, 5, 6, 7, that's just continuing to awaken to our true cosmic origin, our true cosmic blueprint of of saying something like levitation, astral travel, and saying, and not having any, whoa, that's out there, or that's weird. No, that's what we are. That's
Right.
who we are. It's
Right.
not normal or abnormal. It's part of our every moment existence. So that's what's going to start to happen as every single week and month goes by, as we continue to become into a lighter body, and that DNA is going from a 2. So right now, I don't know how many helixes. Maybe for me, maybe I
I
have
was
7.
just going to ask you that. Okay. How
Maybe
do
I
you
have 7
know?
helixes.
How would you know?
Great question. That's a great question. I would wish I had the answer to. I mean, I think it's possible that maybe some of the very powerful magical galactic beings receive that information, but I don't think many would receive that information, because I don't feel it's of much relevance. That like, oh, I need to know how many DNA strands I have activated. I need to know
Right.
like, it's not really important. What's more important is that we continue to go into our shadow and every day channel our energy into, how do I give my gifts? How do I serve humanity? How do I show up as my best, most authentic self? And how do I undo the programs to become more loving? Those are the questions that we need to be asking.
Right. And so when you see the lighter body, those are people they're living now on this planet in a 12 helix, have 12 helixes in their DNA.
There are definitely plenty of humans that have activated 12 helixes in their DNA. There are,
And
of
right,
the
the ones that we talk
1,000,
about, sorry, keep going.
of the 144,000, I don't want to say a number, but there could be thousands, 2,000, 5,000, who knows, that have activated those 12 DNA strands and beyond. Because yeah, many of the souls on Earth have been here. I mean, we've been here since the beginning of time. Our souls have been here throughout the universe since the beginning of time.
Right.
And so, yeah, with that, I want to say this for everyone that will catch this conversation. It's not to say that a star seed or the 144,000 are better than any other soul. There is
Right.
no good or worse. There's no
Right.
better. It just is.
Right.
They're just souls on different journeys. That's all.
Right.
We're just fulfilling different roles in this beautiful ancient prophecy.
Right. When you do, I'm sure you've done past lives, past life regressions, or when you're on psilocybin and you see who you were in past lives, do you see yourself and who you are and who you're, like, what your purpose is?
I see myself in this lifetime as a bridge. That's probably like the number one thing that's really come into my awareness in these last 2.5 years. I'm I'm kind of a you could say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. My dad was the same way.
Huh.
He was really just kind of he kind of just fit in everywhere he went, and he was a real true chameleon. And I'm kind of the same way. I'm really able to just really resonate with a lot of different people, I feel. And so, yeah, I think my message carries far because I think people feel my genuinity and my passion for yeah, just existing on earth and being able to serve humanity and being able to help guide others alongside many other very magical beings. And yeah, I just feel really grateful to remember who I am once again. And I have yet to have direct visions of me when I was in Lyra, or me when I was in Sirius, or past lifetimes when I was in Healing Tribes as a blue avian. You know, I have yet to have direct visions of that, but very magical starseed soul brothers and sisters of mine are continuing to share that information with me, because those abilities for me haven't been fully developed yet. Because I think with my work and what I'm doing and holding space for many, they don't want me to have those abilities just yet because I am out in the public a lot, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, everything happens in divine timing, you know, everything happens in the perfect timing. We think like, oh, I really want my 12 DNA strands to be online. I want full, I want levitation, but it's not the time yet.
Right.
They're developing in perfect timing as we continue to shed everything that is not love and everything that is not in resonance with the golden age. People who are living in fear and anger and separation, those people either have to evolve or they're going to continue their journey elsewhere on another planet. And that's not to feel bad for them, because that is judgment.
Right.
We want to view it from a lens of empathy and compassion, like I talk about so often. Viewing these souls as, I'm not here to interject on your journey. I'm just sending you love. And whatever your journey may be, it will be. And
Right.
that's it.
So important, especially when I raise my children, and they're 13 and 16. And, with teenagers, you're, looking at other people, and, that hasn't, that muscle, I want that to be, as a mom teaching, to understand that judgment. I always say it's a mirror. There's something in that, and that's in you. Like, let's stop, the judgment is so crucial to this evolution or this new earth. And I want it to start with these kids. And I know that their vibration is so much higher than we really even know. And I feel like, the world that they are living in now, especially my kids, and, having their teenage years through this last 2 years, it's like, it's such a so suppressed, their energies are like, I feel like it's compounded down, and they're trying to be like everyone in the social media, and, everyone's trying to be, this norm. And it just gets to be, as a mom who I see the bigger picture, and I try to encourage them, like the judgment, the, looking around at, it's just look with love and raise your vibration at school, that it doesn't matter, they're all living their own path and their own journey and their own lessons and their own evolution of their soul, you know. But gosh, as a mom, Andrew, I tell you what, that adds another layer because, I just am so intentional with those girls and all this stuff. I mean, we talk about my interviews, like we'll talk when I pick them up from school in a half an hour, and we'll talk about what you and I talked about. And I love that because I feel that, if even if they get a 5% of what I share with them, I just feel like it's a little bit, we're moving in the right direction. And if that, like understanding the mirror and the triggers and the limiting beliefs that these children, have been programmed, these in this time. Oh, I just to be free of that and to live without that and start your life when you move out of your, on with your in your 20s and live that life there starting can you imagine, like I look back at my 20s and think, gosh, if I could live with that free, um, that free feeling, I don't know, what a way of living than waiting till I'm 50. I know everything's perfect and it's not about age, and I'm just saying as a mom, I just would, I'm so intentional with that. But
Yeah.
I want you to share what, like with your dad and your parents, how you were like, because you talk about, well, the last 2 years you were doing breath work for 10. You've been doing breath work for 10 years.
I've been doing breath work for billions of years in this
Okay.
life,
Well, yes.
doing breath work since 2018. So for
Oh,
four,
okay.
but it feels when my soul and my spirit awakened, information about breath was just coming into me nonstop that I didn't learn in a book.
Right.
It was in me. It was in my DNA. It's wisdom that I've carried since being throughout the universe for, I mean, yeah, billions and billions of years. So my awakening was like, I know some very magical beings who had their awakening like in 2004 or like
Right.
1998. Like mine was like a freight train. It was so fast. The amount of wisdom that I accrued and being awake for 1 year, it was crazy. I mean, it was so immense. The amount of like my could not even be recognized by the thousands of people I met in 45 countries that I backpacked all over the world. They didn't even know who I was. I was
Huh.
unrecognizable.
But doing what? Your breath work and what? Your psilocybin?
Are you talking about when I was traveling the world?
Well, when you said it, that you looked, yeah, well, in a year's time, you were downloading all this breath work
Mm,
information. You weren't reading books. It was just coming
no, no.
to you.
So I was reading lots of books. I was reading tons of books about healing, about energy, about understanding trauma and emotions and our true spiritual nature. And I was just in it. But I was also I was spending hundreds and hundreds of hours in meditation and in breath. And I was playing with my breath so much that I was just coming to so many of my own revelations about just what the breath was and what it meant and how I was going to share it in my own experience of doing it for thousands of hours to this point.
Right.
So when I woke up, it was just I was so deep in it. I was so deep in my journey, and in just the curiosity was just vast. I was just opening up to the universe in a way, and I didn't have a partner. I didn't have children, so I had
Right.
so much space to just go within. Like every day, I would spend like hours just in silence, listening to music, doing different types of breath work, moving my body, yoga. Yeah. And then I was guided to India in 3 months of isolation with Guruji and understanding and learning about breathwork mastery and yogic philosophy. And that's where and that's where it really all began for me, leading up
Okay.
to the pandemic and everything like that. South India is where all my work really started.
And that that woman is one of your biggest, and she passed away, right?
Yeah, Dr. Amla passed away this year in April. It's tough for me. Was I never loved someone who I spent so little time around. She was
Hmm.
so special. One of the most and special, probably the most special human I've ever encountered.
Hmm.
She was just when I was with her, it was like I stepped into like another dimension of consciousness. It was like I astral traveled into like the world, the planet of love. She was just so special, the frequency that she emanated, and knowing that, she was my soul sister. We've known each other for so many lifetimes, being, you know, angelic souls, and that my uniting with her and Guruji goes back so far. So she ignited so much of my soul remembrance and my DNA. And in the 3 conversations we had talking about star seeds, she just blew my mind with all the wisdom that she had. This 100-year-old woman.
Hmm.
It was just extraordinary. When I was sitting in front of her, it was just like the gratitude to be sitting in front of this woman who was visited by prime ministers all over the world,
Wow.
because she was India's first female researcher. She was one of India's first female doctors.
Hmm.
She was to say extraordinary was like she was like Muhammad Ali. She was a legend.
Right.
And so to sit in front of her and talk about Guruji, when we'd be studying together, she'd be like, "When are you coming over next? Ma really wants to see you again. She loves
Oh,
talking to you." And when we sat in front of each other, it was just like a return home. It was just so beautiful. It was special beyond anything I can articulate in words.
wow. I love that. I'm so glad you shared that, because I did hear that, and I could tell it was meant so much, but I think that it started you to really open up, and she really hit those um, places in your heart that you probably never even had felt before. That's kind of what I got from that.
Yeah, Guruji and Dr. Amla triggered the full awareness of our galactic nature and my galactic nature. Taught me just so much about the multidimensional angelic souls and star seeds coming from all over the cosmos to Earth during this time. And they just brought a whole new level of awareness of the universe that I didn't have before that journey. So, and then when I got back, I mean, to integrate that experience and coming back to civilization, I was just like, how do I do this?
Right. Oh, I bet. I can
and
only imagine.
and I just had so much to share with the world. And when I got back from India, I had like 1,000 people following my page, and then it just grew every month because I was just speaking, and people started finding me, and it was 3,000, and then it was 5,000, then it was 8,000, and all of a sudden it was 9, and then it was
Wow.
11, and it was 16,000, and it just kept growing and growing and growing with me speaking my truth. And just, even though I knew people who I used to know were going to be like, what the hell is he talking about?
Right.
There was going to be people that were like, whoa, like this resonates, or I'm like, I want to know more. So
Right.
yeah,
Oh, I
just kept
love that.
growing and growing and growing over the last couple of years. And it's been some journey.
I bet. Oh, I love it. Thank you for this hour. It goes by so fast. But when people on your website, you do breath work, you offer sessions, you have things that you have online events. You tell me you're getting ready to do something I was listening to. And
Yeah, so I'm about to release the emotion codes course. I just filmed, is going to be on my website next week.
oh,
It's
good.
it's really just an amazing course to move through emotions, have a deeper understanding of becoming an alchemist, and just getting a deeper connection to your body, breathwork practices. So highly, highly recommend anyone who's looking to transmute and transform emotion codes. It's going to be
Okay.
up on my course in a week from now. And then I'm going to be building 2 courses, one that's going to be an intro to breath, and then one that's going to be a breath mastery that's going to be very, very, very extensive. And those are going to be up on my site in the next 2 months.
Oh,
So,
good.
and then, yeah, for people who are drawn to ASEA and were called to it, you can find ASEA right on the front of my website, and then all the other products I love that I'm really passionate about are, and the companies who I love who are just doing amazing things, there on my site as well. And I'll be hosting I'll be hosting a dimensional breathwork journey in about a week and a half from now, which I rarely do. So I'm going to be announcing that in the coming days.
Okay. And we can find that. Will that be on your website?
Yeah, it'll be on my website. You can subscribe to andrewgenoveshealing.com, and that single session will be a 2-hour journey. And yeah, I don't offer the single sessions very often. So amazing opportunity to really like dive deep into your full multidimensionality and experience the breath in a way that probably many of you have never experienced.
Right. And that will be on Zoom. So we can do that online.
Exactly.
Okay. Amazing. What we can do that on Zoom, right?
Yeah, totally.
We don't have to. Yes, we don't have to go to the forest in Washington.
Yeah, there we thank technology and Instagram and Facebook for uniting us and tying us together.
Right. Oh, it's been so fun to meet you. Thank you for this time. I know you were led to me, and it's been just the beginning. And I know there's more, and I really feel that inside my heart. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, Ashley.
You're so welcome.